What's up guys, it's Central Boy from TeamCalamity. This will be another Cardfight Vanguard video, and this will just be me explaining the rules in a basic manner. There are more complicated videos out there that go through everything, but this is just a basic rundown of how the game works. Basically this is the mat that one would use, and the deck has to consist of 50 cards. It can't be anything more, anything less. And in that deck you need to have 16 trigger cards, and I'll explain them later. And only 4 of those can be a heal trigger. There isn't any kind of monster spells, traps, principles. Just think that everything is a monster, really, if you're coming into the game from Yu-Gi-Oh! And yeah, so you start the duel. Both players will search their deck for a grade 0 unit, and so for this scenario I'll choose Lizard Runner Undue, and both players have it there. Then both players shuffle each other's decks and all of that, and then they draw 5 cards. Then they decide who goes first. It says with a game of rock, paper, scissors, but you know, whatever you want. And then both players will stand their vanguard. Now, in this case, that means that you flip it face up there. But I'll explain more about standing in a second. So, let's say that this is my hand. Now, this isn't the best hand. It's a decent hand, but it's not the best hand, because optimally you will want a card in your hand of every grade from 0 to 3, and obviously I haven't got a grade 3. Now what you can do is, once you can select any number of cards in your hand, opening hand, that you don't want, and then you return them to the deck, and then you reshuffle and redraw. You can only do that once, and that's called a mulligan, but you know, call it redraw, whatever you want. And yeah, that's how things start. This is what a unit looks like, and on the unit, on the top left, you have its grade, so that the quality isn't that good, but you can still make it out. The grade for this is 0, and there's a little mark below, and for this particular card, like, depending on the grade, it will have a certain ability, and this one has an ability called Boost, which I'll explain in more detail in a minute. There's a number there, which is its shield unit, and that's relevant when it goes there in the Guardian Circle. Again, I'll talk about that more. And that's its attack unit. Then it's got its critical there, and everything else, its clan, and all of that. Basically, the way that you win the game is by inflicting 6 damage to your opponent, and the way to inflict the damage is by attacking one of their units. And if your attack, the value of your attack, I should say, is equal to or greater than the opponent's stat, the attacking stat of the unit that you're attacking, then they'll take 1 damage. And the damage, the amount that they take is equal to the attacking unit's critical, and so pretty much every unit has a critical of 1. However, you can alter that, and that'll be explained in a moment. So yeah, let's say that I go first and I've stood my vanguard. So the first thing is your stand phase, and all of my units are standing anyway because there's only this one. Then you draw, so draw a card. Then I get to ride, and what that means is I take a unit from my hand whose grade is 1 grade higher or equal to the grade of my current vanguard, which is this guy. And then if you think of exceed summoning, it's like overlaying, but you just put it on top there. So this is basically the way that you power up and get stronger units in the game. So that's the ride phase. Then the main phase. Main phase is where I can activate any effects that say ACT on them and have a blue ACT will be in blue. And it's also where I can call rear guards. Now rear guards is all of this, and what that basically means is I can just drop a unit if their grade is equal to or lower than that of this guy, my Vanguard. So because this guy, embodiment of armor bar, he's grade 1 and this guy's grade 1, so I can just drop him anywhere there. I can't drop Dragon Knight Nahalan because he's a grade higher, so I'll have to wait for an opportunity to use him. Also, if I have someone here when I start my turn, I can move them here during my main phase, and say there's that there. If I was to put that there, you'd have to swap them around. You can only move them up or down. You can't move them across, which means that, say if I put a guy there, then I can't swap it with my Vanguard. It has to stay there. So let's say, for hypothetical reasons, that I put that there. Now I can't attack on the first turn, but if it's the second turn or something like that, then I'll get to enter my battle phase, which is when I get to attack my opponent's units. Now the first thing is that I declare my attack and boost if I want to boost. And so to declare an attack, you rest your unit, so you turn it sideways. If I want to boost, basically boosting means that if I turn this one, the guy that's underneath it, if I turn this sideways as well, then its attack will be applied to this. So essentially this guy in this scenario will have 10,000 attack for the purposes of this battle. So you use it to strengthen your guys. Then the opponent will get to put any of their guys in their hand that they want into the Guardian Circle. Now what the Guardian Circle is you if you're defending an attack, let's say the opponent's embodiment of armor bar is attacking my Dragon Monk Gojo, he's 1,000 attack higher. So if I don't want to take a damage, then I have to defend with someone whose grade is equal to or lower. So let's say that this guy's in my hand and I discard him. His shield value is 10,000. Now what that means is that his shield value will get deducted from the attacking unit's attack value, and then after that, damage calculation will be applied as per normal. Now if I'm declaring an attack and the opponent calls any guardians or not, if it's my Vanguard attacking, then I get to perform a thing called a drive check, which means that I check the top card of my deck and I get to add it to my hand. If it has a trigger, then any trigger effects are applied, and if there aren't, then it's added to my hand. It's added to my hand even if it is a trigger. Now I'll go through the four types of triggers, I should say, at this point. So you have four. The first one is a critical trigger. Now what critical does, if I drive check and I reveal a unit with critical trigger, for triggers to work, I have to control a unit of the same clan as the trigger. Then I can apply the effect. If I don't, then I can't apply the effect. So because these two are both Kagero, if I drive check this, then I can select one unit I control and increase its attack by 5,000. And as well as that, I can raise its critical by 1, meaning that it will inflict an additional damage. Now, I don't have to select the same unit for both effects. So say if I control these two, and I drive check into this, then I can add the 5,000 to him and put the critical on him, or vice versa. It's up to me, and I get to choose. This one is a stand trigger, meaning if one of my units is rested and I get into a stand trigger, I get a 5,000 attack bonus, but I can also stand a rested unit, basically meaning that it can attack again. This is a draw trigger, which is self-explanatory, because I get to draw a card from my deck, as well as the 5,000 attack boost. And this is a heal trigger. Basically, what heal triggers do is they're designed to heal a damage. So if I have more damages in my damage zone than my opponent does, and I drive check a heal trigger, then the heal trigger will allow me to return one of my damages and put it into the drop zone. Sorry, you don't return it to the deck, you put it into the drop zone. You cannot use it, however, if you have less damages in your damage zone than your opponent does, so be wary of that. You're only allowed 4 heal triggers in your deck, and you must have 16 triggers in total in your deck. Alright, so you've attacked, and you've drive checked, all of that. Now, if you're hit, then you get to perform a thing called a damage check if you're the one who's just been hit. So you get to drive check, well, sorry, it isn't a drive check, you get to check for a trigger effect, and if there is one, then you apply it, and if there isn't one, then it goes to the damage zone. That's how the battle phase basically works. And then after that, you proceed to your end phase. There isn't a main phase 2 or anything like that. So that's almost it. I'll just go through a couple of the other kinds of effects. Grade 2 units, such as this Berserk Dragon, have a symbol there below the grade 2, and what that means is intercept. What intercept means is say I have another unit and this unit is being attacked, I can move my unit into the guardian circle, and it essentially acts as a guardian, except that it's on the field. And that's pretty useful if you haven't got many cards in your hand. If you're making an offensive push, it gives you a means of defense. After it's used as a guardian, regardless of what happens, it goes into the drop zone afterwards, as a guardian would. Also, grade 3 units have this below their grade, which means twin drive. Twin drive lets you perform 2 drive checks, which is pretty useful. Yeah, finally, there are 3 kinds of effects. Continuous, basically, it's self-explanatory, it's continuous. Act, I've already said, you activate it during your main phase, and auto means that it's automatic and it'll activate when certain conditions are met. So anyways, this was the video. I hope you all enjoyed it. I tried to make it as concise as possible, and hopefully I'll be having some Cardfight Vanguard videos if more people get into it. So please comment, like, inbox me if you want to trade, and yeah, Eccentric Boy out.